Hi, this is BHF in Digital Mind. I'm just shooting a short video on how to make more money as a freelancer and get more clients in the process. The first point I'd like to cover with you is to quite simply improve your profile. Now, there's many ways that you can do that, which can affect how many jobs that you can get. The first one is to update your description. Now, by that I mean both the way that you define yourself, for instance, as an SEO professional, and how you present yourself in your profile, the paragraphs and the way that you write about yourself. Ideally, a good description would include a little bit about your passion, a little bit about your skills, and a little bit about your experience. Then, depending on how experienced you are, you bring out more of what you've actually done. Then I would suggest you add elements to your portfolio. For instance, if it's been a while since you have added graphic design, if that's what you're working in, it might be an idea to update it with the latest websites you've made or the latest brochures that you have designed. Secondly, I would suggest that you also consider specializing in one skill when you're working on your description, if you're not already doing it. It's very common among a lot of freelancers to try to make themselves as broad as possible in order to more easily attract work. I would say that that can actually work very heavily against you. If I, as an employer, see an application coming in and it appears that the freelancer is trying to be everything for everyone, then I presume that he's not an expert in anything, which again means that I'm probably not going to go with them. And finally, increase your rates. Now, this might sound a little bit counterproductive when, particularly on some profiles, it's very competitive when it comes to rates. However, if a freelancer price himself higher per hour, I would, as an employer, consider that this freelancer is more valuable and might actually be more efficient with their time than someone who priced themselves relatively low. Meaning that the overall cost for me in the time I spend explaining myself and getting the work done to my satisfaction might actually be less. Secondly, bundle your services. Now, from an employer perspective, it's good if you try to add something that saves the client effort. For instance, if you're selling graphic design or web design, that can be solved with search engine optimization. Also, this can be an opportunity for you to give away a teaser. For instance, if you are selling graphic design, then you could, as a bonus, offer business cards. Thirdly, create a website for yourself. Now, this is very important from a positioning point of view because when you are on a freelance profile in particular, then you're often limited in the way that you are expressing yourself, and at times there's limits on the type of links that you can give and what you can actually say. And you're also limited because the price range on the freelance platform also limits how much you can increase your rates. So I would suggest that you create a good website presenting yourself and also create relevant content to share with the audience on that site. 4. Update your profile picture. Now, this is a point that is particularly important for Indian and Pakistani applicants. As an employer, I very often receive applications from freelancers that have nearly identical pictures. And by that I mean blue background, white shirts, tie, maybe a suit jacket. Now, if you receive one of those applications, you're able to set them apart. But if you receive 50 to 100, it's very difficult to remember who is who. And from a freelance perspective, it's very important that you stand out and and that you do so quickly. So what I suggest is that you try to take a picture that somehow says something unique about you, something that fits with the work that you do, which makes it easier for employers to identify you quickly. 5. Ads support. I would suggest that you mention in the initial application if you're applying through a freelance platform, because it makes it easier from a client to immediately set you apart. It might also be an idea to include monthly consultations. It can be something as little as 20 to 30 minutes, and that can be sufficient for you to get an idea about what your clients are going through, and it's also an opportunity for you to upsell. 6. Offer guarantees and deliver. Now, a good guarantee should make it hard for you to say it. So, for instance, if you're a writer, you could guarantee that you would always stick to your deadline, and if you failed to deliver to the deadline, you could offer a discount, or even say that the work will be given away for free, because that will immediately say to an employer that you take yourself and the work that you do extremely seriously, and it'll also back up the importance of your word. As an employer, one of the biggest problems that you might face is that you're dealing with freelancers that say they will do one thing and rarely ever do that. Personally, I've hired hundreds of freelancers, and I can name the ones that I have done what they're going to say that they're going to do in one hand. So I suggest that you give yourself more time than what you need, so that you're able to give the client's impression that you're able to over-deliver every time. And finally, systemize the way that you work. I suggest that you systemize how you apply. For instance, a good cover letter would have a little bit about your experience, a little bit about why you're a good pick for the project, and also address the initial brief, which is the number one mistake among freelancers. I generally expect when I put out briefs to receive 1 in 10 that actually have read what I ask for and write in their application something that makes me feel that they've understood it, and those are generally proceeding to the interviewing stage. Also, systemize the way that you're communicating and the work process that you go through. You can simply do that by creating templates and by having a very simple, clear, step-by-step approach for each client. That makes it easy for you to save yourself time and know where you're at in the process. As long as you do not systemize too much of the human element, because there are clients that are very different from one another. And if you're treating each client like they are just another little bit in a factory, then you're not going to develop a good long-term relationship. And finally, systemize your marketing. What you ideally want to do is to find a way to get your own clients and set the prices on your own terms. Okay, that's about it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, go to digitalmind.com.